This is the product of 8 cups of boiled potato skins that had already been washed, of course. And those were boiled in 4 quarts of seasoned homemade chicken bone broth. And then I added 2 cups of cheesy broccoli soup, 1 cup of diced red and green bell peppers, another half a cup of my cheese blend powder, and a half a cup of the instant milk powder. And now what I'm doing, because my kids don't like chunks, is I'm running it through my Ninja and putting it into another pot. And no, that's not split pea soup. I assure you it is thick, cheesy potato veggie soup. So that's how you can use your freeze-dried and dehydrated vegetables, your scraps left from your potato skins, don't throw those away, and you can make yourself a big pot of nice, creamy, hot, cheesy potato soup. Y'all have a great day. Bye. Good evening, everybody. This is Gardening Warrior Q, and tonight I am going to fix some breakfast, which my kids pretty much eat all day long. So what this is French toast egg mix with honey, cinnamon, vanilla, coffee creamer, and it was in my freezer because I made them ahead of time. I will put the directions and everything down below. But they've been defrosting, and now I'm just going to take them and I'm going to squish them around, make sure there's no big pieces of ice in there, make sure all the eggs are all mixed together. And that looks good. And now I'm going to cube up 9 pieces of honey wheat bread. Now, I can stop and just make them like this and have like French toast sticks, which I think is what I am going to do with this batch because I have 2 more batches to make. And it doesn't matter if they're squished like that. You can just unsquish them. You want to preheat your oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Unsquish your bread, separate it, drop some on the floor for the dog, not on purpose. Gently take them apart, unless you're using Texas toast. Well, I mean, you still need to be gentle, but Texas toast is, or French bread, or any stale bread you have would work great for this. And you want to make sure that your baking dish is well greased. This is a 9 by 13 baking dish, and I'm going to grease this real good. Alright, so like I said, it's a well greased baking dish, and now we are going to put our French toast sticks in there. Get them as evenly as possible, as close as possible. Leave a little bit of room because you want that egg mix to get in there real good. I'll come back right after I'm done doing this layer, but I think you get the gist of it right now. Alright, so what you want to do is just layer them where they have enough space in between. You can do them as high as you want. Just make sure that there's space so that the egg mix can get in between them. Alright, so this is what it should look like. Every single piece of bread should have that egg mix on it. And now we're going to put it in the oven uncovered for 30 minutes. Alright, so now we're going to our next mix, which is French toast egg mix. This one's still slightly frozen, so I'm just going to squish it because you want to get all those eggs nice and incorporated in there. This one has 12 eggs, 2 cups of caramel creamer, 1 tablespoon pumpkin spice, and 1 tablespoon of vanilla. And it's got the directions: thaw overnight, mix well, and use. And again, this can be either French toast, or you can do a French toast bake, which is what I'm doing, a casserole type dish. And I just want to make sure, always make sure that your zipper is well done, so that doesn't happen. You know, that it didn't happen because these are Ziplocs. And when I'm using the Ziplocs, this type, not the reusable type, I always make sure I get Ziploc freezers, because even though I'm cheap, these are the best. And trust me, I've tried the generics. These do the best job. And sometimes it's hard to even get this open. So, most of the ice is out of that. In fact, all the ice is out of that. So, again, well-greased pan. And these I did in cubes. I just wanted to show you that before I did them all. And these I cubed them, but then I unsquished them so they weren't all stuck together. And just kind of throw them in there. You know, make sure there's enough space for that egg mix to get in. Sorry, I'm probably whipping y'all around, making y'all nauseous. Alright, so now I'm going to finish cubing. These are 9 pieces of bread as well. So what I did is I just took the 4 remaining pieces of bread, put them into 4 large strips, and now I'm going to cut them this way 3 times. Well, twice to make 3 pieces. Alright, so I ended up doing 3 cuts and making 4 rows after all. So now we're going to put our egg mix over top of this. Alright, so I swirled it around a little with a fork and made sure that all the bread pieces are covered. And the egg mix. And now we're going to put it in the oven. Alright, so my brunch bake, Italian brunch bake, is not ready yet. It's still quite frozen. So what we're going to move on to next is a stuffed pepper casserole with kielbasa, rice that was already cooked, and, of course, peppers. So, let's get that started. As you can see, I've got a 9x13, well-greased, 375 on my oven. Let's get this party started. So, as you might be able to see, this is my 4ID, I'm not sure which, reusable plastic bags. And anytime I'm doing a casserole, I use blue. If I'm doing like a plain meat that's not mixed with anything else, like even taco meat, I'll use just plain green. But because this is a casserole, we're using blue. It doesn't really matter. It comes in different colors. I just so happen to get 6 blue and 6 green. Now we're going to pour this into there. Alright, so I wanted to note, because I accidentally got my directions wet, which was also the label on the bag, I do put 1 cup of broth in this because the rice is only par cooked, which you'll see in the directions. The onions and peppers have been sauteed. The kielbasa has been cooked all the way through. So, I'm going to cover this because I want the water that's in here to soften that rice up because it's only par cooked. I mean, it's mostly cooked, but it was still not crunchy, but it was still a little undone on purpose. So now I'm going to cover this with aluminum foil and pop that in my oven again on 375. That's why I like to do all these dishes at the same temperature so that I can cook them all at the same time and not be switching things around. So tedious. So, let me cover this and I'll stick it in the oven. All right, so I also snuck one in on y'all that y'all didn't see. That one right there is the Green Goddess chicken quarters. They are still slightly frozen. I put them in here when the oven started preheating, and so in a few minutes when I take out that breakfast bake, there we go, that breakfast bake there, I will also be taking out the chicken and separating it so that it can thoroughly cook correctly. Now that is the caramel, and that right there is the stuffed pepper casserole that we just put in. Now, these have been going for approximately 10 minutes, and I need to cook the first one for 30 minutes. So I'm going to put it on 20, start my timer, and I'll be back in just a little bit. All right, so this is the first French toast casserole, the French toast stick casserole, and it's been in there for 30 minutes. Look how beautiful it is. And knife in the middle, comes out clean. We are good to go. Now, what I need to do is let this sit for a good 5-10 minutes before I try and take it out of here or cut it, because if I don't, it'll make a bad mess. But in that little bit of time, because I prepared ahead of time, and I could have put the bread in there too, it wouldn't have been a problem. I just didn't have bread that night. So take it out overnight. Took me all of a few minutes to squish it up and put the bread in it and put it in the oven for 30 minutes. And you've got a beautiful breakfast or lunch or dinner, whichever. You can also put syrup over this after you cut it if you like. My kids don't eat syrup on theirs. They eat jelly on it, and they usually don't if it's done in a casserole like this. So there is the French toast sticks breakfast bake number 1. And I'll be back in a few minutes to check on the Green Goddess chicken thighs and the other French toast casserole. All right, so after being in the oven, and it was frozen, it was actually a giant mass when I took it out, I laid all the chickens out straight, and these are drumsticks, not quarters like I thought. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover them back up. And put them back in for another 30 minutes. And take the rice out. Now, this is the other breakfast bake. Those are the ones that I cubed. And this is still like ice cold. There we go. It doesn't want to stay down. Anyways, it wants to be misbehaving. So that one is done. As you can see, I put a fork in it. This was all bubbled up because it had a little too much air in here. But I poked into it and it is perfectly done and ready to go. We're just going to let it cool now before we put it into our serving trays. And my little one wants some, so she'll probably have a bite too. So, chicken back in. Let's get the rice out. All right, the rice is fully cooked now. And I'm going to put it back in there for just a few minutes to get a little bit brown. And then we'll take it back out. Probably about 5-10 minutes tops. So, I've also steamed in the microwave some riced cauliflower and some broccoli florets. And what I'll do is I will actually mix these in a container and put them in the fridge. And I don't cook them all the way so that they're not mushy when you reheat them. I mean, they're crisp tender. They're nice, but they're not mushy. So I'm going to put them together in this container here and let it cool off to room temperature and put it in the fridge. That way the girls can just reheat whatever they want and they'll have vegetables. So, as you can see, that broccoli took the entire container. So I'm going to get another one for the cauliflower. So my owl had already had some cauliflower. So there's not as much as I thought there was, but I have another bag, so I'll probably just steam that up in the microwave and add it to it. But we'll be back in about 30 minutes. To check on the chicken. Awesome! So the stuffed pepper casserole just came out of the oven, and it's nice and fluffy, and it's nice and brown, and we're gonna let it cool off, and then we're gonna take a bite. What's still in the oven is our Greek goddess chicken drumsticks, and it's got 9 more minutes before I'm going to check on it. So I'll see you in the next one. Alright, so these drumsticks have now been in for an hour and a half, and like I said, they were frozen solid still. So they are still a little bit bloody, so I'm going to put them in, cover them back up, and put them back in for another 20 minutes. Maybe. You shouldn't have to cook them this long, but like I said, they were still frozen solid. Woo-wee! Then some beautiful Greek goddess marinated chicken drumsticks. And they were actually marinating in my freezer in the Greek goddess salad dressing. And they were still frozen solid when I put them in the oven. In fact, I put them in the oven, then turned it on to preheat. And they finally got done. Yay! They look absolutely delicious. So, I'm very happy. And again, to go over what we've done the Greek goddess drumsticks that were in my freezer. They were a make-ahead meal. Pretty much just a make-ahead marinade, really. This right here is my mouth's salivating so much. It smells so good. Sorry about that. This is the stuffed pepper casserole. And I'll put the instructions for all of these and the recipes down below. That is the French toast bake. And those are the ones I cubed. And this is the French toast bake that I made into French toast sticks. And as you can tell, we had to try a little bit of that, and it was very delicious, just so you know. It doesn't need any kind of sweetener, it doesn't need any kind of syrup or anything like that. It's perfect just the way it is. So I will put the description or the recipes in the description box below. And this is actually just a reminder to all of those in the global gardening homesteading community of a collaboration that is coming up. And if you would like to be involved in that collaboration, showing us how you preserve your food, if you make it ahead, like all of these items were made ahead and put in the freezer until I was ready to cook them. If that's what you want to do, that's great. Show us how you prepare it, put it together, and then freeze it. Then take it out of the freezer and make your meal or dessert or whatever you're making. But I do need for you to please email me at the email listed in the description box below if you would like to be involved in this collaboration. And not what dish. You don't need to tell me what dish you're making. Just your channel name and what day you would like to do your video. You would like your video to come out for. You can schedule it ahead of time. You can make it ahead of time and schedule it to come out anytime between October 24th and December 24th. So that's 2 months. And Christmas Eve, we will be shutting that off. As of right now, I do not have any sponsors, so I do not have any prizes or anything. If somebody would like to donate a prize or would like to sponsor a prize, then please let me know. Again, the email's in the description box below. And I hope that y'all will join. The number one rule is have fun. Have fun showing us how you gain a little mealtime freedom by making your meals ahead of time, or maybe preparing things, using your preps to prepare, food, or if you can, and then you use that canned item to make meals. Whatever you do to make mealtime a little easier, a little more convenient for you. That's what this collaboration is all about. Rule number 2, you must be a member of the global gardening homesteading community in good standing. You see this? That dog says, I want some of that French toast. Twinkie, you can't have French toast. Oh, yeah, he's sitting there looking all innocent like he's not doing nothing. He was just up on my leg trying to sniff that. Look at him. You can't have the French toast. No, you cannot. You're a bad boy. I must have dropped some on me. He's trying to lick my dress. Anyway, rule number 3 is you must use the hashtag mealtime freedom. And that, again, will be in the description box below. You must email me before October 23rd, which is the last day of the Global Gardening Homesteading Community season, as far as it is right now. That's the cutoff to get weights in and such. And so I need to know before October 23rd, I'd like to have the playlist set up and have everybody's videos already scheduled ahead of time, and we'll figure out how to do that so that this can run smoothly and be a help to some people that might not know how to do this. And you'd be amazed. So I'd really like the help of all the people in the community. And if y'all can please, like I said, email me with a date. If you want to do a live premiere, that would be even better. That would actually be a lot easier as well to schedule as a premiere, and then I can just put it in the playlist with the link that you can send me. So just think about that. And again, the email will be in the description box below, as well as the rules and the recipes for each of these items. So y'all have a great night, and I'm hoping that this will be a live premiere. So if that's the case and I actually pull it off this time, it's now time for everybody to say goodbye, because we're going to go. Y'all have a good night. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.